French leftist theater faces bankruptcy after opening its doors to 250 African migrants for a free show, and they refused to leave and remain in the building 5 weeks later.
Wow.
A theater in Paris, which is known for its radical shows and exhibitions, has been... Wait a minute. Is this the theater that showed that... Remember that play that you had me pull up in the middle of a stream?
Yeah.
Where they were like eating pieces of each other and shit like that?
Cannibalism.
I wonder... It's called the Gate Lyrique Theater. That doesn't sound familiar. So. No, that's not the same. Actually, that was in Germany, wasn't it? That one. I think that was in Germany. Yeah, okay. So the Gate Lyrique Theater in Paris staged the conference entitled Reinventing the Welcome for Refugees in France on December 10th. It involved the talks hosted by academics from top universities and Red Cross officials and saw activists welcome in the migrants. But when the conference was finished, the migrants, who mainly come from France's former West African colonies, refused to leave the venue. Still occupied, the leftist theater now faces going out of business after weeks without revenue from ticket sales and has had to cancel all performances until at least January 24th. Its management said that in a statement last week that the number of people taking shelter in the theater is continuing to increase and has swelled to around 300 people.
Can the cops not, like, come in and...
No, the migrants are perfect and they're good people. And
do you think they have the political will to do anything about this?
Damn.
They're black. They can do no wrong. The sanitary conditions are deteriorating day after day, which means they're shitting in the halls. And the teams are facing this situation alone. It said as it called for the local authorities to find a housing solution for the occupiers. A housing solution. Arrest them for trespassing, you cucked out law enforcement pricks.
Yeah, they clearly already have a housing solution.
Yeah, like the 6 feet of dirt that should be over their heads. Although this occupation is forced, it is unthinkable for the Gate Lyrique to throw these people out onto the street in the middle of winter. So again, like they just don't have the political or just general fortitude for their own well-being to do anything to these people. Oh, it's cold outside, so we can't kick them out. What an insane thing to have. Like, they... it's so retarded.
Dog, at that point, I don't give a fuck how cold it is. You're living you're living on the goddamn streets.
Yeah, exactly. Go die in the snow.
Yeah.
So Paris' socialist-led council, which owns the building, claims it has looked for accommodation for the migrants, but that none was available. Yeah, because, like, similar to fucking Britain, like, all of their social housing is used up by migrants. It has called for the government to deal with the problem, but President Macron's centrist cabinet, is said to have ignored the request and is reluctant to get involved in the debacle. See what I mean? Like, they just don't have the will or the desire to actually do anything about it. The estimated the cost of the cancellations of private and public events has been estimated to stand at several €100,000 in direct losses. The theater's income model, which is 70% based on ticket sales and 30% on subsidies, has collapsed. Local businesses have also complained of losses due to the occupation. The bistro next to the 19th century venue, a popular spot for theater goers to eat and drink before and after shows, has reported €30,000 in lost revenue so far. They are ruining my business, the manager of Elia, herself the daughter of Algerian migrants, told the Times. How many times they had to, like, come to the revelation that there's no group of people that hates illegal migrants than legal migrants. Yep. That's why Trump won the Hispanic vote. They hang around outside my terrace, smoking joints and fighting among themselves. Not only do we no longer get theater goers because the theater is shut, but we don't get passersby either. They're being frightened away by all these young men. Oh, they're all literal fighting age young men. Huh. I thought they were all like refugees, like families, women and children, all this kind of stuff. No, there's no women and children in these groups. They're basically just African adventurers, is what they are. The migrants all claim to be under the age of 18. meaning they would be considered unaccompanied minors and given the right to be housed and assisted by local authorities. Let me scroll up here for a sec.
Some of those do not look like they're all under the age of 18.
None of them do. Hang on.
Like, I can see maybe a few of them, because in recent years, I've noticed, like...
That guy's under 18 for sure.
People that are young do
Give me a break.
look older. But, like, dog. I think, right? Another thing that's just insane to me is that, like, these migrants will be like, why does nobody want to take us in? And it's like, man, I wonder why. Probably because there are constantly instances of bad apples that just take advantage.
Oh yeah, well, because they know that the authorities are crippled by accusations of racism, and they feel like they have free reign to do whatever they want as a result of that. And the thing is, they're right. But local officials have insisted that they are adults and that the most are known to the authorities and had been sleeping on the streets before entering the theater. This is an illegal occupation of a building by recognized migrants, the regional authorities said in December. The Collectif des Jeunes du Parc de Belleville, the group which organized the occupation, slammed the age test as racist and expeditive. See? They just know the playbook. Man, Europe and Britain are so fucking cucked, man. Named after the Paris park they previously occupied, the protest group described the theater occupation as a focal point for their anti-racist and anti-colonial struggle. So that's what happened, is that the migrants came in to this leftist theater. They don't have the political wherewithal or the desire to kick them out because it's cold outside. And they have a bunch of leftist commie protesters outside demanding that they be able to stay and that the migrants be able to stay.
But you know what? Those people want to protest. They can pay for the losses that business is getting.
Fucking welcome to Paris.
I think that's what I would be saying. I'm gonna fuck. If you want these people to stay here, you can pay the losses that I've had.
Yeah.
Or they can live on the street. But
they rely on like the anonymity of crowds, essentially. Because what are you gonna do? Arrest all of them? That kind of shit. And it's like, yeah, they don't have.
Better yet.
Yeah, gas them.
Yeah, gassing them is an option.
France's Interior Minister Bruno
That's not what I was saying.
This guy's
I know it's not what you were saying.
This guy's last name literally sounds like retaliate. Bruno Retailleau, who took on the role in September, vowed to crack down on illegal immigration when he took on the role in September. Well, do your fucking job then. French people want more order. Want order? Get a copy of it at their Daily Mail. Want more order in the streets, order at the borders, he said at the time, denouncing what he called mass migration to the country. On November 1st, France reinforced its borders with 6 of its neighboring Schengen members, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Spain, and Switzerland, with increased checks. The controls were applied to travelers entering France via land, sea, and air routes from all 6 nations and will last until April 1st, 2025. But authorities have said that they could be extended further. A French government statement declared the checks were introduced due to serious threats to public policy, public order, and internal security proposed by high-level terrorist activities, criminal networks facilitating irregular migration and smuggling, and migration flows that risk infiltration by radicalized individuals. Get enriched, retards. Anyway. I just think this is such a fantastic example of, basically, leftist luxury beliefs, and them actually having to suffer the consequences of those beliefs. Because usually, these people hold these positions about migrants, but they don't take any themselves. They live far away from where the migrants congregate. They don't actually have any skin in the game on the ground with the migrant populations and all the trouble that they cause. Usually they're just preaching from on high in their ivory towers. They're like, oh, the poor migrants. We need servant.
Yeah.
We need a robust economy of Deliveroos. and janitors and shit to just clean up after us, because a permanent servant class from the third world is a good thing. And they never act to suffer the consequences. And this is like a rare case where they actually are being forced to suffer the consequences of their own beliefs, which is fantastic Schadenfreude as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it's rough that like, they wanted to do this like nice thing, free, whatever, and they get taken advantage of. But it is a nice like eye opener for them, where like these people are not just complaining about these issues just to complain about these issues. They have valid fucking concerns.
Oh, I mean, they're not going to learn anything from this. Like the ideology is so, they're so, gripped by this suicidal empathy ideology, that they will absolutely, destroy themselves to maintain the virtues of this ridiculous ideology that they follow. And the other thing is that like they're in too deep at this point with the ideological conviction. And this is the same with like gender ideology and the whole trans issue and stuff like that. Like a parent who transes their kid is never, ever, ever going to not believe in gender ideology. Because if they do, that means that they admit that they made a mistake and literally ruin the life of their children. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's the same with this migration stuff. Like, all the crime and murder and grape and all this other shit that these migrants commit, it's like yeah, they don't commit the majority of it because they're not the majority population. It's like per capita, they're way overrepresented in basically every crime statistic. And the thing is, it's like you have to deal with the crime that's done within your country. It's a choice to deal with the crime that you import into the country. And the fact that you make the choice to do that is disgusting. But the thing is that if they renege on the ideology, then they now have to claim responsibility for all of the awful shit that has been done to the native population due to the policies that they advocated for. And there's no way they're going to do that because the guilt is just too damn high. So they're never going to learn anything. They will take the ideology to the grave, and they will drag the countries down with it if they're not forced out of power beforehand. So.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's true though. This is, I swear to God, like ideology is like the death of humanity.